Alright guys, day number 23. At the end of this video, I'm going to post a picture of my deceivingly adorable son holding my incredibly beautiful daughter, and just for your benefit if you want to see it. So, for those of you who did not fast forward to the end of this video, Under House Arrest is what we're doing this study on, about these books that Paul wrote while he was under house arrest. And first we did Philippians. Today we're doing our second part of Ephesians. And he starts the whole book off after yesterday, this little introduction, with this prayer poem. And it's basically about praising God. And he introduced it yesterday with verse 1. Today we're going to look at the next, or really the first half of this prayer poem, verses 4 through 10. So let's go ahead and read that. Even as he chose us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and blameless before him. In love he predestined us for adoption as sons through Jesus Christ, according to the purpose of his will, to the praise of his glorious grace, with which he has blessed us in the beloved. In him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of our trespasses, according to the riches of his grace, which he lavished upon us in all wisdom and insight, making known to us the mystery of his will, according to his purpose, which he set forth in Christ, as a plan for the fullness of time, to unite all things in him, things in heaven and things on earth. Okay, so some of this may seem a little bit confusing, and for any deep theological questions that you might have, I send you over to David Morris. I'll give you his number if you need it. But today for us, I just want to talk about a couple things. Verses 4 through 6 may seem a little bit confusing. He chose us before the foundation of the world. And he talks about a lot of these things, but I want to focus on in verse 5. He predestined us for adoption as his sons through Jesus Christ, according to the purpose of his will. So what we have here is he's talking about this plan that God has had from the beginning of time. Remember, we're talking about Ephesians. We're kind of taking this bird's eye view. If you've ever gone up in a skylift or in a plane and looked down, everything looks completely different from up there. If you see a layout or a map of like a Disney theme park or something, it looks completely different than when you're standing on the ground in a part of it. So Paul realizes that he is on the ground. He's a part of this larger story being told. And just like, in anything that happens, in our lives, we become a small part of a bigger story. Us having to stay at home, we're a small part of this historical moment where everything has changed for a couple of weeks. And so we see him kind of pulling back, and what Paul's trying to describe is God's overall purpose, his overall plan. In verse 7, he says that in him we have redemption through his blood. And this harks back all the way back to Exodus, and Jewish readers would definitely hear this as talking about the blood that was shed, put on the lamp post, or put on the door frames, so that they could be passed over by the angel of death, and then the continued Exodus after that, God delivering his people. And once again, we see this bird's eye view of God delivering his people. And then verse 10, as a plan for the fullness of time, to unite all things in him, things in heaven and things on earth. As a plan for the fullness of time. A lot of times we go through things like this. We go through bad times and small inconveniences on this earth, and it's not fun. And there are things in this earth that are evil and terrible. But what God, and I think what Paul wants us to read through Ephesians, is that there is an overall plan. There is an overall hope. And God is working to bring everything together for his purposes. One day, he's going to defeat all of this. He's going to defeat evil in and of itself. He's going to defeat sickness. He's going to defeat death itself. And we'll get to live forever in glory with him. Check. End game. That's how he's going to win. And we're seeing this bird's eye view of how he's making these purposes happen through his son and through Paul and through us today, bringing about his kingdom on earth. Here's a picture of my beautiful children. Love you. Miss you. Bye.